This is Black Myth Wukong. Right now my settings are at 1440p ultra wide with cinematic presets and ray tracing full on. And I'm running it on a mini PC. This is the GMKtec EVO-X1. This is an incredibly powerful mini PC. It comes with a very powerful CPU and iGPU. It has the Ryzen AI HX370, very good mobile CPU, very powerful, and it does have a very powerful iGPU, the 890M. Now, the 890M is very powerful, but it's not capable of running the game at those settings, let's be honest. However, RTX 5080, brand new, fresh out of the box. So new, it still has the plastic on it. See that there? Yeah, this mini PC has Occulink. Occulink facilitates significantly higher bandwidth than USB 4. It does have USB 4. You can still use USB 4 and get yourself a Razer Cortex eGPU enclosure and still get incredible performance. But Occulink basically is a PCIe solution. It's going to hook into the PCI of the actual chip and go directly in. So you're getting almost full bandwidth. Not exactly, but I don't remember the number, but it's 95% or above. So basically you're utilizing the GPU. GMKtec. They make mini PCs. I've reviewed some of their mini PCs. They sent me over this. This is their newest Halo mini PC. This one here is equipped with the Ryzen AI HX370, an incredibly powerful CPU for compute, and it has the most powerful iGPU that you can get right now on a mini PC. I'm actually going to bring in this other PC real quick. This is another one that I've been working on. I like it to compare because it's got a Occulink as well. So it has a little Occulink dog. Look at the size difference. Holy crap is that small. Right, this is an Occulink enabled mini PC as well, so it's hooked up to the dock. This is an Occulink enabled mini PC as well. Look how freaking tiny that thing is. Wow. Yeah, it's like a quarter of the freaking size. Look at that. It's a tiny bit taller is all it really is, but it's significantly smaller in area and I suppose volume as a result. This is metal. So it's got a very premium build. It's got a nice design to it where this is kind of open to that. So it's, these are a little pricey because they do have the new Ryzen AI stuff, which is expensive in general. Companies have to actually pay to buy these chips and put them in. So it's not like, they're just ripping you off or something like that. AMD charges a ton of money for these chips. Let's focus in here. Metal top, this ring goes around, metal bottom, huge, huge, huge fan there. These guys have always focused on cooling. Look at the thickness of that heat sink in there with the radiator. Very nice. You can see some of the cooling, some of the other chips in there, capacitors in that. Just they're going to get airflow. We'll put it that way. Back of the device here, 2 USB-A, faster USB-A, so you'll be able to run not just accessories, but things like SSD docks off of them. DisplayPort and HDMI, both powerful chip. You're going to be wanting to run potentially a powerful screen. 2 LAN, so it's got a redundancy if you're using this as a little server type thing, media server, or whatever you're using it for. Your DCN, Kensington lock slot, because you don't want someone to steal it. Radiator. And then on the front, this is where things get real serious. USB 4. USB 4 is going to allow you to run true docks because it's got the bandwidth. Docks that can have display. You can actually display over that. Or you can run eGPUs. Or you can run if you need more ports. So if you have a USB type dock that you potentially need some more ports than this thing offers, you can get USB docks. I mean, I kind of like that setup. I've been using mini PCs right now kind of as my daily thing. And the only limit is potentially sometimes you don't have as much connectivity as you may want. This thing's still pretty decked out, but you may need some more. You just get yourself a little USB dongle type thing, a little dock. USB 4 you can use to hook up to an eGPU. eGPUs will massively increase the performance over the iGPU. Like that 3080 there would obviously outperform this iGPU, obviously. But you lose a lot of bandwidth and a lot of performance over USB-based GPU docks. It's fine, still going to add more performance, but you're going to lose a lot of it. Occulink doesn't have that issue because it hooks up to the PCI lanes directly. You do lose a tiny bit, probably like 5% or something. I need to actually quantify that one of these days, but it's a few percent. We're talking about a few percent. So you're not getting, a 3080 minus 40% performance, right? You're getting a 3080 minus like 3 or 4% performance, or maybe 5. So basically the performance. And the CPU is so freaking powerful in here that it's going to be fine to drive very high-end GPUs, such as a 3080, or I guess that's old now. Get yourself a 4070, 4070 Super, 7900 GRE, 7900 XT. This chip in here will be enough to drive those, I guarantee it. And we'll show some of that in the video. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. So that's just going to slide out. Look at that. God, is that elegant. Okay, so this is the, GMK always does this. This is the cooling for the chip, the actual CPU chip, right? And then there's component cooling as well. So this is for the other components like the RAM and the Wi-Fi and that, which is good because those other components can run hot too, and you can get throttling potentially, NVMEs and that, you can get a little bit of throttling, and it's just not good for the health and the longevity of your device if it's running super hot. Okay, so that comes off, I guess, that just pops out. Yep, so that's your component cooling fans. Look at that clean product there. One NVMe slot with a P3 Plus Gen 4 name brand drive. No off-brand crap here, that's a Gen 4, so it's gonna run fast for storage, for operating system. Second slot in there as well, so you can hook up a second one, no problem there, that's great. You'll notice there's no RAM here because these chips by necessity have soldered RAM. This is not GMK saying we're gonna have to solder the RAM and screw the person. No, no, no. The Ryzen AI HX370 works with solder RAM. It's just the way that it is. It runs very fast as a result. You don't have to worry about SODIMM sticks. The downside is you can't upgrade it more than what you pay for. This one has 32 gigabytes, so that's what you get. It is what it is. For what this machine is designed for, I think it's going to be more than enough. But make sure you get enough RAM. But as a result as well, the RAM runs significantly faster. So SODIMM sticks, I mean, what are we maxing out now? 5600 megahertz mega transfers with like at best CL40. It's not really that fast. This stuff's going to run super fast. I can guarantee it, and I haven't even turned it on yet. So it's going to have super fast RAM, which is good for compute, which is what this thing's designed for, and iGPU. Both benefit heavily from fast RAM. And then, of course, you do get upgradable Wi-Fi. So it's as upgradable as it possibly can be, with upgradable Wi-Fi, name brand Wi-Fi as well, and upgradable storage as well. Very cool. Let's put it back together. Let's get it tested. Let's get it hooked up, and we'll start testing it. This is my daily driver setup that I've been using for, well, we'll find the date later, maybe about a month now. And it's all running off of a mini PC. This thing's so useful that you can see here, I've been using it as a testing apparatus. This has truly been my daily driver for about a month now. All this stuff has been running off of it. I've been using it to test other devices, do reviews, and just, make videos, all that kind of stuff. I will leave the DGPU plugged in. It will produce a little bit more noise, but I want to kind of have a scenario with it also doing its thing, not just the mini PC, because you might use it on its own, but you might also have a little DGPU. So noise-wise, it's basically silent. Spoiler alert, I'm actually refreshing a XPS over here, which is producing more noise on the floor. That XPS there is more noisy than this mini PC, just so you know. So I'll bring this right up to it. Very quiet. I'm going to bring the mic right up to it now because I want you to be able to hear it. It's super quiet. I've been testing some other mini PCs on my channel in the past 2 weeks, I guess I'd say. This is the quietest one so far, other than there was one that was like an N150, which was silent because it was like 5 watts. But this, for like a true mini PC that has some chops behind it, it's very quiet. And look how cool it runs. This is one of the nice things about this machine. It's so quiet and it's so cool, even under full load. Because it's a mobile chip, it's meant for a laptop, so they did balance the heat and the thermals in that. Running out of 50 watts or so, 55 watts. But it gets a lot of performance, by the way, just spoiler. Again, I've been doing other stuff. We're over 20K, which is fantastic. I have another mini PC spoiler. It has a much more higher wattage CPU in it, 100 watt. That'll be another video coming up. That machine is significantly noisier. Significantly. Where is it? It's here. So it's a MSA1 from Minisforum. Still a good mini PC, but this one here runs at 100 watts. And so it's using about twice the watts. So it has significantly more temperature, meaning the fans run a lot more and a lot noisier. Whereas this guy here is super quiet. Okay, so now we'll show it on its own merit. On the side here, the Occulink dock that it's normally with is over there, but we'll have it hooked up here, turn off the mood lighting now that it's been shown. It's a very nice, clean little package. They're very small. You can just set it up on the side over there, and away you go. I could easily put it under here, but I like the airflow coming in the sides, blowing out the back. Stick it to the back of a monitor, whatever, but it's a nice, clean little package. It actually looks nice, like visually is appealing as well, with the two-tone contrast on the front, metal on the top there. It's just a nice, clean little package. You can see on the front here that it is a USB 4 capable port. Can you see that there in my hand? Yep. USB 4 capable. That's a USB 4 enclosure down there. Can't see that. Okay, so it's USB 4 enclosure, and we're running at USB 4 speeds. There's no point in doing this whole test. You can see here it's USB 4. So you're going to be able to run USB 4 based enclosures like this at a very good speed. This one here also happens to be a dock of sorts. You can see it's got display, all that. So it's going to be fantastic to run a dock. Thunderbolt 4, USB 4 docks are actually quite useful in general, but especially for a mini PC, because the mini PC this one is equipped with pretty good port selection, but you're not getting the same number of ports as, a huge ATX motherboard with all kinds of extra stuff on it. It's just not the way that it is. So you can get yourself a USB-C dock, specifically USB 4, and then you can have, if you wanted, you could do multiple displays over it, but more specifically, you can do way more in terms of USB ports, connectors, all that kind of stuff. So we'll open up my video editing program of choice here. And yeah, so one of the nice things here is, you only have a couple storage options inside of the device there. So you can put in, your operating system one for 8 terabytes, whatever you want. Second one, same thing. So you can still get a lot of storage in there, but having access to USB 4 means that you can easily expand your storage. So we'll come in here and we'll just grab something. There's a projector that I'm working on. Okay, so we drop those in there. Isn't there a GMK one here? Yeah, my output from it, so we'll just come in there. You can see how fast these are processing. So this is a 10-minute, I think it was 8 gigabytes video file, and it will just process that. I can immediately start editing it. Oh, that's the intro to this video. That's funny. Yeah, that's the intro to this video. As you can see, I've been using this for a long time. This was like, I don't even know, a month ago. I didn't even remember that I recorded this. So that's the spoiler. Actually, this will be after the fact. So you've already seen this. But you can see how fast the audio is already processed. The whole track is processed. It's done, right? What is this? This is a projector, nice projector. We'll bring that in. It'll take, 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, not even. It's already done. It's already processed the audio. On a slower device, that'll creep its way across, and you'll see it slowly work its way across. And it's already ready to go. Like, we're already ready to edit, right? Oops. We're already ready to edit over here. Right? We're ready to rumble. So it's going to be fantastic, right? So we'll come down here. We'll just get that out of here. That projector, unrelated to this video. We'll go 60. We'll output, just to the desktop. Just a trial type thing. 4K 60 video HEVC, which is more compressed, so it's a little bit slower. AMD encoding, and go like that. And, it'll probably take, what is a 10-minute video? Is it 10 minutes? It should take, it'll take about 5 minutes to, if that. It takes about 50% of the speed of the render, which is, honestly, it's good. We're not rendering with, like I said, we're not rendering with a 4090 or 5090 or some 7900 XTX, some beast GPU, but it's still very capable, right? So the video processing, because the CPU is so powerful, is very quick. We were bringing in clips there, and it was like 3-4 seconds for 10-minute 4K 60 clips to have the audio fully processed, ready to edit. That's very fast if you haven't done it before. And this program here is not the fastest program in the world. It's easy to use, but it's not the snappiest. So that's actually, it would be faster on a different program, is what I'm saying here. And in terms of the processing time, outputting that 10-minute 4K 60 at HEVC, which is slower, it's a higher compression, and we're going to be about 5.5 minutes there on a 10-minute clip, so about 50% under, which is fast. It's very fast. That's faster than my current laptop that has a 13900H and a 4060. It's faster than that. So it's going to be very, very capable for things like 4K video editing. So if you are getting this as a creative type or whatever, any type of person who's going to be doing video editing or graphic design, that kind of stuff, it's a very capable CPU with a powerful iGPU. Tasks like this are going to be quick, fast, and enjoyable on this here. It's going to be very, very, very fast. So if you don't want to get into the Mac infrastructure like me, I don't like it, and I don't want to be in the Mac infrastructure, this is a very capable alternative to that's going to be very fast for things like video editing. Of course, you could hook this up to a dedicated GPU if you want, powerful one, and render with that, and it would be even faster. But just as the machine is baseline here, it's very quick. This is Black Myth Wukong. Right now my settings are at 1440p ultra wide with cinematic presets and ray tracing full on. So we'll have it like that so that we can get the swag. The swag being the computer, and the brand new GPU. Let's check the settings here, and we'll go through them. So I think we're at cinematic. We're at 1440p ultra wide. It is good to run this at a higher resolution because you're going to be less likely to run into any form of CPU bottleneck. If you had a 5090 and you were at 720p, you might start to hit the CPU a little hard. But yeah, we can come in here. So we are at 1440p ultra wide. What else can we do in here? That's fine. Come down. We can play with resolution scaling. That's really high. We don't need that much, so we're just going to go probably like 80%, something like that. Frame gen on, DLSS, whatever. We can play with this as needed. It all depends on how much you want. We do have ray tracing on medium, but it's still on. You can turn it off. And we're at cinematic presets, so very high. Very, very high. You can see up in the corner. Oh, I wasn't ready. I was filming a short. Jeez, bro. Okay, anyway, so we can see right off the bat, I mean, you're going to get awesome performance. Again, we're only at 8% scaling. You could turn it off, and you get closer to 60. You can see we're at 85. Good lows, too. Good enough. CPU usage is only at 25%. We're going to have a lot of CPU power here, and that's important, like I said, because when you start hooking up stuff like 5080s, 5090s, 7900 XTs, you're going to get to the point where, depending on the game, you could really start to tax that CPU a little bit too hard, where it's going to become the limit, especially over Occulink, right? So GPU it's actually pulling less watts than I thought it would. 240 watts or so. I guess NVIDIA is relatively efficient. And you can see we're getting pretty high on that on the GPU. It's bouncing around 90 to 95, 98%, meaning we're basically getting all the performance out of it. There's always a little bit left on the table versus using a true PCI port and a 9800 X3D CPU. But look at that performance! Holy smokes! This does have 32 gigabytes of RAM to the system, so we're not going to have any issues there. No shenanigans. This is running on the iGPU inside. This is the GMKtec EVO-X1. It's equipped with the Ryzen AI HX370. Very good CPU. And the 890M iGPU. Incredibly good iGPU. So it's going to allow you to do a lot of gaming. This is, where we're taking these mini PCs to the next level. We're getting into serious gaming now, not just super low 1080p, whatever. So we're at 1440p. We're going to need some scaling. So we'll go maybe like that, 70. We're on medium here, frame gen off to start. We can turn it on, but we'll just get a baseline here. Pretty respectable settings here. FSR will bring us down to around 1080p anyways. I was going to record this with like game capture, but yeah, my game capture itself was freaking out. So we'll do it live. But it's fine. I mean, you can also hear how quiet the machine is as a result. It's more basically silent. And anyway, so you're going to get above 30 FPS. 28 for the lows. 37 for the average. So obviously very playable. You can play with the settings. We could turn it low. Again, we're at 1440p here, right? So you could come down here and we could go maybe a little bit more scaling, 50%. Try something like that. Yeah, I forgot to have the GPU usage on the screen. And we're getting very respectable performance. This is an iGPU in Black Myth Wukong at 1440p with scaling. However, it looks fantastic, especially because this is a 1440p screen. Let's try some frame gen. We're getting to I don't really like to use frame gen when our FPS is very low, but when we're starting to get it up a little bit, I'm actually fine with it. So we'll come down. So that's frame gen on. Let's try turning it down. So we'll try low. We'll try medium textures and medium vegetation. Let's try that. So a medium low mix with frame gen on. And 50% scaling. Again, we are at 1440p, not 1080p. It's pretty close to 60. You could just throw it at 1080p straight up, but I want to try with this here. So it's going to be very playable on these mix settings. Again, I have textures at medium as well, so everything's not turned all the way down to low. And you're going to get, this is Black Myth Wukong, remember, this is not some... I'm going to make this slow and painful for you. I hate that guy. I'm not doing this with game capture because my game capture was being a pain, so whatever, we'll do it like this. But as a result, you can hear that the system is running very quiet. So the reason I'm doing 1440p is because I think 1080p, people do use 1080p monitors, but a machine like this I think is actually slightly more geared towards professional use. Look at this guy. I had to keep controller sit down. And that professional use probably leans more towards 1440p or something like that. So let's come in here and we will try just normal 1080p. Because you can also just turn the resolution down. We're not going to need as much scaling. Maybe 75. To be honest, we may not even need that. It's probably too much. Yeah, we're over 60 now. Actually, we're about 60. So lots of ways to go here. If you do have a 1080p monitor, lots of ways to go. 1440p monitor, lots of ways to go. Even with a 4K monitor, you'll need a lot of scaling, but you can get by with it. So, okay, I just finished an extensive amount of game testing, benchmarks, etc., etc. What do I think about the GMK here? The EVO-X1 with the Ryzen AI HX370 chip. It's very good. It is a very, very, very nice mini PC. It's very small, not too big, very premium, metal design, nice visuals to it with the multi-contrast look to it. Even the design, like that little design there, very nice. Ports on it are good. You get access to reasonable ports, dual LAN. I mean, what more could you want of something this small? And if you need more, you do get USB 4. USB 4, you can hook yourself up to a full dedicated USB 4 dock, Thunderbolt 4 dock, and get tons of expansion. And for me, what is probably one of the most important things is an Occulink port. Occulink port allows you to hook it up to an eGPU, which then you can hook up whatever you want. I've tested with a 4080. That's the highest I've went, and it worked amazingly well. 5080. The performance itself, the CPU is incredibly performant. The Ryzen AI HX370 is a very capable CPU for professional tasks like video editing, rendering, engineering tasks. It's very good. It's also very efficient. So as a result, it doesn't need a ton of watts to get to that kind of performance, 50, 60 watts, meaning this giant cooler here is more than enough to keep it cool. Very cool, actually, like 67, 70 degrees under full load. It's very cool and quiet. It's not annoying. So that's all very, very good. Upgradability, you can't expand the RAM. That's just based on the chip that's in there. There's nothing you can do about that, but you do get 2 NVMe, Wi-Fi, and that kind of stuff. So very good. The APU in here is incredible. Ryzen AI HX370 offers a lot of processing performance. You're approaching desktop level processing performance out of this here. Very, very, very good. You're going to be able to do serious engineering tasks, 4K, 8K video editing, no problem. No problem at all. Very, very, very good. High level coding, compile, excellent CPU performance. iGPU here, Ryzen, the iGPU here, the iGPU here, the 890M is very, very good. Big jump from last generation, the 780M. It just allows you to play AAA modern AAA titles, and I'm talking like 3D, high demanding titles that uses benchmarks with reasonable settings. We're talking 1080p, medium type presets with, you're getting 60 FPS type stuff, 1440p with some scaling and some reasonable settings. Again, very playable. So you're going to get excellent performance out of that. The cooling system is really good, obviously. The APU here only runs at about 50, 55 watts. And so it's such a massive cooling solution there keeps it cool, keeps it from throttling, and most importantly for me, keeps it quiet. I feel like people who go with mini PCs don't want a massive rage noise beast machine in the corner of the thing. They want a quiet little thing tucked in the corner. But if you find that it's just not enough performance, you do have access to the Occulink dock. So you can slap on an RTX 5080 or something, whatever you want, 5090, 7900 XTX, whatever. It allows you to do that. So it's basically a true desktop replacement. I really like this machine. It's able to replace multiple devices. It's able to replace a full desktop computer by having such a capable CPU, just the APU in it for gaming, whatever you want to do, whatever GPU accelerated tasks, just on its own, nothing else added. It's fantastic. Having the Occulink port allows it to go further. When that iGPU in here starts to show its age in 2026, 2027, you start to say, well, I'm not really getting the frames that I wanted anymore. just get yourself an Occulink dock, slap it in, and get some serious performance. You don't even need a powerful GPU. Just get something cheap, right? Massively increase your performance. The CPU in here is not going to be outdated for a very long time, so I wouldn't even worry about that. The CPU is very, very, very capable. And pricing. The last thing, it's not the cheapest mini PC in the market. Nothing is with the Ryzen AI HX370. That's not GMKtec's fault. AMD is charging a lot of money for that APU. It's just the way that it is. Anyone that has modern 2025 chips in it are going to cost a lot of money. Look at the market. But the value is there. So it is more expensive than something with a 6800H, for example, but you get massively better CPU performance, massively better iGPU performance. You get incredibly good cooling, tight, small package, and you get access to an Occulink port, which allows you to get significantly better performance now than any normal mini PC, or extend the legs of the machine into the future. So that's the GMKtec EVO-X1. It is an outstanding mini PC. I've been using it as a daily driver for a month. I mess around with stuff as well, but I've also been using this to test other platforms, test other devices as well. This thing's really good. So yeah, check it out. I think you guys should check it out. It's really, really, really nice. And that Occulink capability there really extends the capabilities of this device.